Welcome to this New Year's Eve edition of the Business 7 Show. My name is Juana Klache. And as we look ahead to 2026, let's take a look at what's kicking in Business 7 this week. Following Namibia's participation in the Summer 300 initiative, which aims to provide broader power access for all Africans, Mines Minister Modesto Samutse explained why Namibia is taking part in the initiative.
At the same time, we recognize that access will not be achieved by government alone. It is a collective effort. Where projects are commercially viable, we invite the private sector to lead and invest. Where access is developmental, the Namibian government will continue to play its rightful role, supported by partnerships through various forms, which could be grants, which could be concessional financing, and so forth. By joining Mission 300, Namibia is joining a continental movement and the effort to connect 300 million people to electricity by 2030 across Africa. I therefore invite all stakeholders present and those whom we are representing to collect a hard copy of the compact or to log into our website and access the compact document. The electronic version will also be available on the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy's official website. And with these remarks, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I now here today formally launch Namibia's National Energy Compact. Sometimes back in a certain country where the media decided to go on recess. And actually, there was no information flowing, whether in the print media or just social media. So, and when everybody else started realizing how important the media is. So you are very important, and I appreciate your presence. Thank you very much. Significant step in Namibia's ongoing energy development journey. The launch of Namibia's National Energy Compact marks a clear and deliberate commitment to expand energy access, strengthening economic transformation, and advancing shared prosperity. By formally joining the Mission 300 initiative, Namibia aligns itself with a continental effort to address one of the most fundamental enablers of development, which is reliable and sustainable energy. This compact is the product of a considered and disciplined process. It reflects national priorities, informed by evidence, consultation, and long-term planning. More importantly, it signals a shift from aspiration to implementation, from policy intent to measurable actions. This compact did not emerge overnight, as was also emphasized by the previous speakers. Our journey formally commenced in February 2025 at the Africa Energy Summit in Dar es Salaam, which is Tanzania, where heads of state and government under the Mission 300 initiative were invited to begin the development of their respective national energy compacts. Following that continental call to action, we were deliberate in how we approach this process. Beginning in March 2025, we undertook local consultations across our country, engaging communities, engaging regional actors, engaging utilities and institutions closest to the realities of energy access. We complemented this with targeted bilateral engagements with key stakeholders across the energy value chain. In particular, we engaged our national power utility, Nampower, because generation, transmission, and system stability remain central to Namibia's energy future. Very, very crucial. We also engaged our electricity distributors who are at the front line of the access agenda. This includes the 4 regional electricity distributors such as Sinoret, Noret, Erongoret, and Soret, as well as the city of Windhoek and the Oshakati Premier Electricity Utility. Each plays a vital role in connecting households, schools, clinics, and enterprises. Their practical experience informed the compact's focus on affordability, the rollout, constraints, and implementation realities. We engage the private sector, including through the Renewable Energy Industries Association of Namibia, recognizing that private investment, innovation, and efficiency are indispensable where projects are commercially viable. We also engage civil society organizations, focusing on the socio-economic impacts of electrification, including gender inclusion, youth employment, skills development, and community empowerment. These engagements reinforced the understanding that energy access is not only about infrastructure, it is about opportunity and dignity. Academic institutions, notably the Namibia University of Science and Technology, contributed through research support, analytical inputs, and evidence-based perspectives to ensure that the compact is grounded in data and long-term thinking. We benefited from sustained technical engagement with our development partners, including officials from the World Bank and the Africa Development Bank. And we have the representatives today here. Thank you very much indeed for your continued support. They worked closely with our officials in shaping the compact and strengthening its credibility and coherence. We also took this compact beyond our borders, presenting Namibia's vision at the spring meetings in Washington in April 2025, and again at the Africa Energy Week in Cape Town in June 2025, where our focus was on engaging private sector investors and strategic partners. Director of Ceremonies, I mentioned these engagements deliberately, not to tick off a checklist at all, but to emphasize one clear and important point. And this compact is a Namibian document. It was shaped by Namibian institutions, informed by Namibian realities, and aligned to Namibia's development priorities. But was subjected to rigorous national governance processes. It was reviewed by the cabinet and by the cabinet committees. And this was to ensure alignment with our national priorities and our development mandate. What does this compact mean to Namibia? Of course, much has been said, especially by one of our presenters here, and indeed by all of us, those who spoke before me. First, it anchors energy access firmly within our national development goals. Under the 6th National Development Plan, which is NDP 6, Namibia is committed to connecting 200,000 people or more households within the planned period. The National Energy Compact provides the coordinated framework to deliver on that commitment. Under our National Integrated Resource Plan, we have set clear ambitions to reach 80% electricity self-sufficiency and to achieve 70% renewable energy penetration in our generation mix. These targets speak directly to our energy policies, which call for energy security, affordability, and reliability for the benefit of our people and our economy. The compact recognizes the full energy value chain and the interdependence between access, supply, and infrastructure. We are focusing on access because access matters. But we are also clear-eyed about the consequences of access as access increases demand. And demand must be met with reliable, affordable, and secure electricity supply. Today, Namibia generates only the pause for a purpose, of course, because that's what we want to address. Only 40% of its own electricity. The remainder is imported. As a minister, Modestus Chitumbe Shamsi, I am not satisfied with this arrangement. Energy security is addressing economic issues. It is involving the security of our country, and we must change this trajectory. Hence the importance of the launch of Mission 300. This means investing in generation, but also addressing transmission bottlenecks. Unlocking transmission is not only good for Namibia, it is good for the region, actually for the regional projects, such as the Angola-Namibia, abbreviated ANA, and Zabona interconnectors, which have the potential to strengthen regional power trade and integrate Southern Africa more effectively. Director of Ceremonies. Namibia is endowed with abundant solar and wind resources, and we intend to unlock this at scale. We are also endowed with some of the most significant uranium resources in the world. As we are serious about long-term decarbonization, affordability, and reliability, nuclear energy must be part of the options that we have to address the gap of electricity supply within and beyond the boundaries of Namibia.
Farai Kanonda, a representative of the African Development Bank, explained what benefits there are for countries to participate in the Summit 300 initiative.
Start off by saying that it is a privilege and an honor for the African Development Bank to join the government of Namibia at the launch of the M300 National Energy Compact, an essential forward-looking framework that reaffirms Namibia's commitment to ensuring reliable, affordable, sustainable, and clean energy for all. I think we all agree that energy is the cornerstone of development. It drives industry, powers essential services, and shapes opportunities for communities. India's decision to place energy access and clean energy at the center of its national agenda demonstrates strong leadership and a clear recognition that inclusive energy systems are fundamental for long-term prosperity. I think from the presentation, Namibia has already made notable progress in electricity access. I think the executive director already noted that. Yet significant challenges persist. We can talk of the high tariffs that continue to limit affordability. We also know that more than half of their households still rely on traditional cooking fuels, with consequences for health and environmental sustainability. Compact therefore directly confronts these issues, setting targets to reach 70% electrification and 61% clean cooking access by 2030. Obviously, one of Namibia's greatest strengths is its extraordinary renewable energy potential. The country possesses world-class solar and wind resources, and this positions it well to expand on renewable energy generation from the current 54% to 70% by 2030. It's already observed this will require about 454 megawatts of new capacity across the various renewable energy technologies. And this will require robust investment, strengthened local capacity, and improved data systems for informed decision making. The African Development Bank sees this compact not only as an energy strategy, but an economic transformation strategy. Namibia's green industrialization, which is anchored on renewable energy, local resources, and innovative technologies, has the potential to position the country as a global leader in green hydrogen and clean molecules critical for decarbonizing heavy industries. This pathway promises jobs for youth, empowerment opportunities for women, enhanced local manufacturing, and increased foreign investment. And by developing transmission infrastructure and serving as both source and conduit for clean energy, Namibia can facilitate north-south power flows, strengthen SADC energy security, and help diversify the region's energy mix. These efforts will support stability, competitiveness, and shared economic growth. The compact we celebrate today was shared through broad-based stakeholder engagement. And this inclusive process is essential because achieving the compact's goals will require all hands on deck. I think from the presentation just a few moments ago, 1.76 billion will be required, about 411 million of it from the private sector. I think even in those estimates, there is still the Baines Power Project, which has not necessarily been included in those numbers. But I think more importantly, these figures remind us the scale of Namibia, that the scale of Namibia's ambition matches the scale of its opportunity. The African Development Bank, Namibia is a trusted partner with whom we share a long and productive history. If I may just mention that the bank's current country strategy paper from 2025 to 2030 emphasizes economic transformation, infrastructure, energy access, and climate commitments, and positioning of Namibia as a green hydrogen leader featuring prominently in the strategy. In the energy sector, just as an example, on the 1st of December, a few weeks back, the board of directors approved a 10 million facility, project preparation facility from the bank's Sustainable Energy Fund for Africa to Hyphen Hydrogen Energy Limited, which is an SPV formed to develop and operate pioneering vertically integrated green hydrogen project. Additionally, and we continue to support the government in undertaking various studies towards the development and implementation of the Baines hydropower project. We are also pleased to further note the bank's support to the city of Windhoek's peri-urban electrification drive, which is targeting about 40,000 households. And I think we already had that there is need to be connecting about 210,000. So that's a significant contribution to that target. And of course, there are still other opportunities that we continue to discuss with the authorities. The bank therefore stands ready to support the government of Namibia in close collaboration with all stakeholders. In closing, the launch of this compact marks a decisive step towards a more resilient and inclusive energy future. And on behalf of the African Development Bank, I congratulate the government of Namibia and affirm our unwavering commitment to supporting the realization of this vision. Thank you.
Life is unpredictable and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as 50 Namibian dollars a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
And that's a wrap for the Business 7 show. Thank you for tuning in throughout the course of the year. Goodbye.